I still remember the day I first realized just how much damage a so-called harmless snack habit could do. I was 78 and cleaning out my pantry, looking at the brightly colored bags of chips, cookies, and crackers that I had collected over the years. It struck me that most of these packages listed ingredients I couldn't even pronounce, and yet I was popping those snacks into my mouth without a second thought. The taste was convenient, sure, but I started to ask myself, at this stage in my life, do I really want to fill my body with things I don't even recognize? That single question sparked a series of changes that have helped me feel more in control, more dignified, and, most importantly, prouder of the choices I make every single day. It's not just about the physical aspect of health, although that matters a great deal. The bigger challenge is what happens when you don't feel in charge of your own well-being anymore. Many people over 65 fall into a routine where convenience overshadows caution, especially when it comes to snacking. I'm older now, I've earned the right to indulge, we tell ourselves. But behind the colorful packaging and tempting flavors, many processed snacks are packed with hidden sugars, excessive salt, and chemical additives. The cost isn't just a few extra inches around the waist. It's your independence, your self-respect, and your ability to enjoy the daily activities you love. Some days the cravings can feel overwhelming, especially if you've been used to certain tastes for years or even decades. But ignoring this issue can lead to serious consequences. Elevated blood pressure that keeps you from traveling, blood sugar spikes that force you into a restrictive lifestyle, or joint pain that keeps you on the sidelines instead of dancing at your granddaughter's wedding. If you've ever felt even a little uneasy about what you're eating, it's time to take a closer look at those snack choices. By the end of our time together, you'll understand 6 powerful ways to replace heavily processed items with healthier alternatives that actually taste good and give your body the respect it deserves. I've spent a great deal of time reading research on senior nutrition and speaking with individuals in their 70s, 80s, and 90s who have made remarkable transformations. What I'm about to share isn't just a personal opinion, it's a combination of those real-life experiences and the collective wisdom from older adults who've taken control of their health and found renewed pride in their daily routines. These 6 tips aren't fads. They're practical steps toward feeling stronger, more respected by yourself and others, and more aligned with the life you want to live, even if you're well past retirement age. Before we dive in, I'd love to ask a small favor. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notification bell. That way you'll stay connected and won't miss any future videos where we continue exploring topics that matter to folks in our age group. And if you find these insights helpful, type 1 in the comments so I'll know this content is valuable to you. If it doesn't resonate, type 0. Your feedback helps me improve and serve you better. Now let's explore the first of our 6 tips and see how you can make a meaningful shift away from heavily processed snacks. The first thing I want to share might sound counterintuitive. Stop trusting the front of the package. Bright labels claim low fat or baked or even heart healthy, but these tags can be misleading. Many seniors take these labels at face value, thinking they've stumbled upon a guilt-free snack. The misconception is that a product labeled with a health-related phrase must be good for you. In reality, these claims often mask the addition of extra sugar, salt, or artificial substances. It's like dressing a wolf in sheep's clothing. Just because the label looks friendly doesn't mean the contents are harmless. Consider the story of Henry, age 76. He always prided himself on choosing the low-fat versions of his favorite snacks, confident he was making the healthy choice. His doctor later pointed out that these low-fat products sometimes contain twice the sugar of their regular counterparts. Henry had no idea that, in trying to cut down on fat, he was increasing his sugar intake, something that was driving his blood sugar through the roof. The surprising insight for Henry was that low-fat doesn't automatically mean good. In fact, it might mean the opposite. So how do you navigate this? The simplest step is to flip the package around and read the actual ingredients. If the list is long and contains words that sound more like lab experiments than food, it's a red flag. Focus on real ingredients: nuts, seeds, whole grains, and natural sweeteners like honey in moderation. By taking this small action, actually reading the back of the box, you arm yourself with knowledge and reclaim control. You'll feel more confident about what you're putting into your body, And that pride in making an informed decision is invaluable. Instead of second-guessing or blindly trusting marketing promises, you become the final judge of what you eat. Let's move on to the second tip. Rediscover the snacks your grandparents loved. This might seem like a bold statement. After all, aren't those old-fashioned snacks outdated by today's standards? But there's a misconception that progress in modern packaging automatically lead to better, healthier foods. Sometimes it's the older, simpler options that have stood the test of time for good reason. Think of Dorothy, 82, who grew up nibbling on things like apple slices with peanut butter, a handful of dried fruit, or a simple piece of homemade bread when she was a child. As she got older and life sped up, she replaced those wholesome picks with chips and flavored crackers. Dorothy noticed her energy levels dipping in the afternoon, and she felt bloated by dinner. She decided to go back to basics. Not only did her digestion improve, but she found she no longer craved the overly salty, artificial flavors she had gotten used to. The surprising truth here is that modern convenience often strips snacks of their nutritional value in the name of mass production. By looking back at more traditional choices, you realize these classic snacks typically used fewer ingredients and allowed the natural taste of fruits, grains, or nuts to shine through. An actionable step you can take today is to list a few snacks you enjoyed as a child. Maybe it's unsweetened applesauce, roasted peanuts, or even a modest slice of homemade pie. Ask yourself how you can adapt them in a healthier way. Maybe you'll use less sugar or opt for whole grain flour. By reviving the best of the past, you reintroduce flavor without compromising your health. And the emotional benefit? There's a certain dignity in enjoying foods that connect us to our history, reminding us of simpler times when good health was grounded in real, straightforward ingredients. If you've stuck with me so far, I'd love to know you're still here. Please comment 2 below to let me know you've made it through these first 2 tips. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It shows you value this kind of content, and it helps me continue sharing tips that honor our stage of life. Now for the third tip, challenge the idea that snacks have to be quick and easy. We're told as seniors that we should simplify everything. That's not always bad advice, but it can lead to relying on overly processed grab-and-go items that end up harming more than helping. The misconception is that convenience is king, and anything that requires extra steps or prep time just isn't worth it. But convenience can be a double-edged sword if it means sacrificing your health and self-respect. Look at Joe, 77, a retired elementary school teacher who loves snacking on individually wrapped pastries. They were straightforward. Just open the packet and eat. But over time, Joe noticed he was constantly sluggish. A nutrition-savvy neighbor explained that each little pastry carried more additives and preservatives than actual nutritional value. Joe decided to invest a bit more time in snack prep. He started slicing fresh vegetables and pairing them with a homemade yogurt dip. The difference? He felt lighter. His doctor noted improved lab results, and even Joe's family noticed he was more energetic during their visits. The surprising insight is that the extra 5 or 10 minutes spent chopping or mixing can lead to an enormous benefit down the road. You might discover a sense of fulfillment in those small routines, like carefully picking out fresh produce, washing it, and storing it neatly in your fridge. It sounds simple, but these little rituals can bring a sense of dignity to the everyday act of eating. A practical step is to dedicate a few moments in the evening or morning to get your snacks ready. You'll avoid the last-minute rush to the pantry for something in a shiny wrapper, and each bite will be something you can be proud of. That emotional lift, knowing you chose nourishment over a quick fix, is a powerful feeling. Moving on to the fourth tip, watch out for hidden sugars, especially in snacks that don't even taste sweet. This might sound like a wild claim because we associate sugar with candies and pastries. But the misconception is that you're safe as long as the snack doesn't taste overly sweet. The truth is that manufacturers sneak sugar into foods like crackers, instant soups, and even savory sauces to make them more palatable. Meet Helen, who's 80, a no-nonsense woman who rarely ate desserts. She assumed sugar wasn't her problem because she barely touched cakes or cookies. But after she began reading labels diligently, she realized that her favorite healthy crackers contained multiple forms of sugar disguised under names like maltodextrin and brown rice syrup. She felt betrayed, to be honest, because she'd been so careful about sweets her entire life. The surprising reality is that sugar lurks in places you'd never suspect. The key is to remain vigilant, especially if you're watching your blood sugar levels or trying to maintain stable energy throughout the day. So what can you do about it? Try exploring alternative flavors, herbs, spices, or natural tanginess from ingredients like lemon juice. If you're used to processed foods laden with sugar, your taste buds might need time to adjust to more subtle flavors. But the payoff is immense. You'll find you have more consistent energy, fewer afternoon crashes, and a greater sense of accomplishment knowing you're not falling for sneaky marketing tactics. The emotional benefit is huge. There's a distinct sense of pride in realizing you've outsmarted those hidden sugars, taking active steps to protect your health in a world where it's easy to be misled. If you're still here and gaining value, comment 4 below. It warms my heart to see your engagement, and it reminds me that even though I'm talking from personal experience and shared wisdom, we're all learning together. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. Your presence here means a lot, and I'd love for you to continue this journey with me. Let's talk about the 5th tip. Break the emotional ties to processed snacks. This might seem a bit radical because, let's face it, food isn't just about physical nourishment. It's about comfort, memories, celebrations, and even coping with stress. The common misconception is that those emotional attachments are set in stone, especially as we get older. But the reality is that we can choose to create new emotional associations with healthier alternatives. Think about Margaret, 79, who vividly recalled sharing big bowls of cheese puffs with her husband during movie nights. After he passed away, she felt a pang of sadness whenever she reached for that orange-dusted bag. But she also felt it was a way to keep their tradition alive. Over time, however, she noticed how lethargic and bloated she felt. A friend suggested she transition to a more wholesome version of their cherished routine. Air-popped popcorn lightly tossed with herbs and a sprinkle of Parmesan. At first, Margaret resisted, fearing she'd be letting go of a cherished memory. But she soon realized that the spirit of those movie nights was about togetherness and comfort, not about artificially colored snacks. She found she could honor her husband's memory with a healthier option while staying connected to that warm feeling of nostalgia. The surprising truth here is that it's possible to reshape your emotional connections. Instead of heavily processed snacks, try to find healthier substitutes that still pay homage to the sentiment. A practical step is to pick a snack that aligns with positive memories. Maybe it's roasted chickpeas spiced up to mimic the flavors you love, and enjoy it intentionally. Really savor it, remembering the good times without the guilt. Emotionally, you reclaim your sense of dignity, proving to yourself that you're capable of adapting traditions without losing what made them special in the first place. Finally, the 6th tip is about creating a support system. This might seem obvious, but so many seniors tackle their dietary struggles alone, thinking it's too late to change or that nobody else cares about how they snack. The misconception is that dietary changes have to be solitary endeavors. In reality, involving friends, family, or community members can make a dramatic difference in your motivation and success. Look at Paul, 80, who lives in a retirement community. After he decided to cut back on heavily processed snacks, he told a few neighbors what he was up to. To his surprise, several of them admitted they were also fed up with feeling sluggish and wanted to eat better. They started a small snack swap group where each person would bring a healthy option once a week to share. Before long, they had a table full of homemade granola bars, fruit salads, and crunchy vegetable chips. The surprising insight is that you don't have to face your pantry alone. Whether it's a friend from church, a sibling, or a social club, shared goals can boost everyone's sense of accomplishment. Action-wise, consider inviting someone you trust to join you in a healthier snack challenge. This could be as simple as checking in once a day to share what you ate. That social bond can reinforce your own determination, and together you'll experience the emotional benefit of teamwork, camaraderie, and the mutual pride that comes from making better choices. It's harder to revert to old habits when you have a small community cheering you on or holding you gently accountable. If you've made it through all 6 tips, please comment 6 below. I genuinely appreciate the time and energy you've spent listening. It tells me that you care about the way you nourish your body and that you respect yourself enough to seek out positive changes. If you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you one more time to hit that button. Your support keeps me motivated to share more insights tailored for our age group. As we wind down, take a moment to envision how these tips could shape your life moving forward. Picture your pantry transformed into a place of nourishment rather than regret. Imagine waking up knowing that the snacks you'll reach for later in the day are something you can feel proud of. Snacks that respect your body and sustain your energy. Remember the key principles we discussed. Scrutinize labels, revisit wholesome older snacks, be okay with a little extra effort, stay vigilant about hidden sugars, reshape emotional connections, and lean on a supportive community. The urgency here is real. The longer we wait, the more these processed foods chip away at our well-being, our sense of independence, and our dignity. But by taking even one step today, maybe it's throwing out a snack that no longer serves you or texting a friend to see if they'll join you in a healthier journey, you're setting a powerful precedent for all the days that follow. It's never too late to reclaim that sense of pride in what goes on your plate, and your body has an amazing capacity to respond positively at any age. Think about which one of these tips spoke to you the most. Was it the idea of going back to childhood favorites, or perhaps building a support system? Envision yourself a few weeks or months from now, feeling more vibrant, more energetic, and more self-assured simply because you decided to replace those processed snacks with something more wholesome. We can all create these new habits step by step. The main requirement is a willingness to start. Please share in the comments one thing you learned and how you plan to use it. Maybe you'll pick up fresh vegetables from a farmer's market this weekend, or maybe you'll finally toss out those sugary crackers. Let me know. I read every comment, and it encourages me to keep providing tips and ideas that can make a genuine difference in your life. If you found this video helpful, a like or a share goes a long way in helping more seniors discover it. And if you haven't yet joined this community, remember to subscribe. Together, we can keep learning and supporting each other as we forge a path to better health and well-deserved dignity at any age. Thank you for spending this time with me. My hope is that you'll remember that each snack choice is not just about satisfying hunger, but also about honoring yourself. You have the power to make decisions that uplift your health and your pride. I believe in you, and I look forward to walking alongside you on this journey toward a richer, healthier, and more fulfilling life. I'll see you again soon with more tips, more stories, and more ways to make the years ahead feel truly golden. Until then, stay proud, stay curious, and never forget that every moment is an opportunity to respect the wonderful person you are.